you had 99% of founders, what was it, fail at 100, just your last slide?
Yeah.
At 100K, or was still at 100K. Is that because of the systems that they don't have in place mainly?
Yeah, I think oftentimes it's because they're sort of just working harder with like the wrong architecture in place, right? They're still running sort of their like 20K per month successful thing, but then trying to use that to get to 100K plus per month as an example. Yeah, go for it.
And I think with that as well, at that point too, I think you sort of have to do an identity shift yourself as a founder and like rewrite that new identity and set those systems and set the things, because that revenue amount was probably the one that you were aiming for, right? To get to there. And then you became that founder. And now I feel like I'm at that stage where I have to like redo a little rewrite of my identity shift to get to the next stage with like systems and thinking about money. Like you said, it's like you got to be money obsessed. Before I was never money obsessed. I'm just like wanting to do good and like it's more about impact. But now I'm like, no, the money is what drives us to help more people. So I've just been like reprogramming that. So I think like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's exactly right. I think that, the identity side of things is really important. I know that, as an example, going into this year, my real focus was to like really embody this like architect, right? Architecting an amazing business, architecting an amazing life, inspiring others to architect their dream life and being just insanely intentional about every single aspect of it. And to me, like I'm really inspired actually by a book I've been reading right now called Wisdom Untethered by Michael Singer. And there's a chapter in it kind of around like, how do you bring all this like presence and awareness to business, when business is a lot of like using your mind and then, when you think about, say, meditation, it's almost about like realizing that you're that awareness behind your mind. And the kind of vibe in it is just this idea that you got to imagine your business was like given to you by like God, and that you're like really serving people. And this is like the vehicle by which you're serving like the world. And so with every decision, every meeting, every way you show up, just like living from that like much like higher state from all of it. And that to me, as an example, or just as like a vibration, like connects with how I think when it comes to even like this conversation or like cash flows and everything, it's like, it's all connected, as I think you're alluding to in your own way, Maddie. I think that inevitably how I see it is like on this meeting right now, I can show up in a certain way, right? I can either like come prepared and inspire you guys and try to get to the nitty gritty of it, or I can just like be a lazy son of a bitch, right? And you're going to kind of get what you put out there, right? Similarly like with my team, right? I can, bring preparation. I can be inspiring. I can have a clear vision in mind and really get them fired up around it. And I can put the right, incentives and things in place, or, drop the ball. So it's like how we show up day to day, meeting by meeting. That's going to set that tone. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was wondering,
cool.
Do you have like any mindset things you did to get to those marks that you were changing as to identity shift as that founder? As in like, what were this type of like things, like, cause for me, you got to like rewrite the identity. Like, so I love systems. I love like money. I'm trying to get all that into place. Like if there's anything, that helped you with that identity.
I think it's a bit of like I think it's a lattice work of stuff, right? Like meaning that there's like a bunch of aspects that when you put them all together, right, it helps you evolve, right? So, one thing that I do, I learned this from Eric Schmidt, founder of Google. He learned this from Bill Campbell, the $1 trillion coach who advised folks like Steve Jobs, obviously Jeff Bezos, the founders of Google, etc., was like a weekly reflection and like a detailed one, right? So having this like constant reflection you're doing, I like to do it on like my Sunday morning with like a coffee and just like even for 40 minutes, like in-depth review, like what's going well on the health side, what's not going well, what's going well on the business side, what's not going well. How did like reviewing even some of the week, like the meetings and the people and like what's going on, right? And then what I've found is that it sort of starts to connect and be this bridge from like week to week versus you come in on Monday and it's like a fresh week and you almost forget about what happened last week. It's like, no, how do we learn from the good, the bad, and then come back even stronger now that next week and beat however we showed up the previous week. So that's like one thing as an example. Second is like like really just learning, right? I think inevitably, there's this quote by John C. Maxwell. It's like leadership is the cap on your success, right? You're like a 6 out of 10 leader. You're going to be 4 out of 10 successful. You're a 10 out of 10 leader. You're going to be like 9 out of 10 successful. So like, how can you just become like a better leader, right? How can you, give people better tools around you, training around you, onboarding, be more motivational? Do you have a insane vision that people are compelled by? Are you building something that your team and people around you are excited to be a part of, right? So I think whatever it takes to become a better leader, for me, that's really paying attention to my information diet. I read about 50 books a year. I listen to things that I think are inspiring that help serve me. I surround myself, and I'm very, very picky about who's around me. I'm a very big introvert in general. And if I'm doing extroverted stuff, it's intentional. I'm not, I don't know, hanging out with randos. So I'm really like intentional about who I'm with. And on that side too, I've always had like a bit of a personal board of advisors. So I'm always just keeping a tight circle of people that inspire me and such. I'm on a call yesterday with Daniel Dalen, and he's telling me about someone that he met that's doing $1 million a day and some of the strategies that person's using. And you're like, damn, all right. You leave that meeting and you're like, all right, now I see the volume, necessary for success. This, individual person, had taken their VSL, made 20 different versions of it, narrowed that down to 10, then made 20 different versions of those 10, then narrowed those down, and like did like that cycle like 5 times. And you're like, gosh, darn it. Like I have one VSL I'm running and it's going well, but like you just see that sheer level, of it, and that's typically what I see always with it is like that's a common pattern, of like the levels, similarly, when Veneri, who I think she may have left, but, when I think about these, like it wouldn't scare me at all initially when I'm standing things up to have to like basically hand message like 3,000, 4,000 people at where I'm at now in my career. Maybe early on, it's like, oh my God, 3,000, 4,000. I can't even imagine hitting 40. It's like, it's okay. That's the journey, right? It's like just learning those sort of things, similarly. I think these days in business for me as an example, it is this kind of like that VSL energy I just gave to you as an example, right? Like, oh, wow. Like how much could we test that to really get the language right, to really get the data around exactly what makes people tick? Sort of what I'm advising you to do, Tim, right? Like really understand, like, what is it? Like why in this moment is breathwork so important? What would cause people to convert to this? Like being obsessed with that, right? And if the more obsessed you are around that, understanding like what are the most popular books on it right now? What are the most popular podcasts that have come out? What are the most popular YouTube videos that have come out? What are the most popular articles around it? Cool. Like, what's the synthesis of that? Run that through ChatGPT, run that through Claude. Like, what does that get to? Inevitably, whatever that product of that obsession, that rigor, that detail is going to get you to something freaking amazing and at least way better than where it was. I think that one other thing, Maddie, is like, so I learned this from Elon that when he was taking the Tesla e-commerce area of Tesla, which was non-existent at the time, and he went to his president and he's like, I want this to be the best e-commerce experience in the world. And at the time it was just like garbage, right? And he's like, in the world, like that's pretty far. And he's like, let's pull out our phones for a sec. Let's go through Domino's Pizza. And you go and you buy a Domino's Pizza and it was 3 clicks to buy a pizza. He's like, cool. I want to buy a Tesla, 3 clicks. At the time it was 25 clicks. Right. And they're like, we're reducing this to 3. So then they went to the factories, reduced the options. At the time, there was like 245,000 permutations of Teslas. Right. And they reduced it to like 3. Right. And sure enough, it's like a gargantuan part of their business now and like cranks it and is like world renowned. Right. And so what's the pattern there? It's like you may have gone through this whole exercise we kind of just did as a squad. Right. And seeing like, oh shit, this area of my business is like really broken, right? Which like, hey, welcome to the club. We all have like really broken parts of our business, right? It's like, versus just saying, I'm going to fix that, be like, I'm actually going to make that the best in the world. And so taking this like broken part and maybe making it even like the strength of your business now. You can just see like even that mindset. It's so much bigger than even just like a fixing energy or like a low vibration, like, oh, I'll just make it better than it was yesterday. It's like, meh, meh, meh. Like, how do we actually be like, okay, let's just reinvent this. Let's just break the mold for a second. Like, what am I really trying to do here? What would be like just the most insane version of this? And I think we live in an awesome time right now where I really think that more and more things are being automated, and we live in this age of convenience and all that. I think more than ever, really attuning ourselves to like our imagination, right? Really taking some time to imagine what your business could be. I'll leave you guys with something sort of maybe interesting as an example on this note. And we'll get to any final questions too. Okay, 1 second here. So this is an example. I did some thinking right around like our vision for Founder Us, right? And came up with like a team vision and like a brand vision for it, right? And went over this with my team this week on like an all hands, right? And it's like this vibe of like, what motivates me is like building this operating systems for founders who want their business to run without them, right? And when I thought about it, it's like most founders are invisible. They have a great product. They work hard. They get results, but no one knows who they even are, right? And because no one knows who they are, they're always on, there was one algorithm change, one referral drought, one bad quarter away from starting over. And we fixed that permanently. And so it's, products get cloned, ads get expensive, referrals dry up, but a founder who owns their audience, their platform, and their reach, they can launch anything. They can never start from zero. They compound forever. Distribution is the last true competitive advantage. That is what we build, right? And doing it through world-class content, building folks' social media machine, and, helping folks stay in our universe forever, hopefully. And so the vision is to be the Apple for founder distribution, the standard, the reference point, the brand every serious founder is proud to be associated with, the system they credit when they hit 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, right? This is what like fires me up, right? And so I think like similar to what you're saying, Maddie, it's like maybe revisiting like that, right? Like the why and like where you're trying to go, and can you get others around you to really feel that energy? And do you feel that? And then can you bring that then to like even just the most mundane shit you're working on in a given day or week, right? To suddenly just like reimagine it versus just let it be just another ops meeting or another marketing meeting or whatever it may be. So
yeah, no, that's great. Thank you, Matt. I think I need to like redo the vision for the